Good day, folks. The day has come. Katey has been thinking about doing this for probably 3 years now. For 3 years, I have been thinking and talking about doing a podcast. I love to talk. I love sharing. I love encouraging. I love all of these things. And I love podcasts. If you know, you know that I love them. I love listening to them. I love sharing them with friends. I love being a guest on them. I light up when I get to speak on a podcast. And when I get to speak anywhere, I love sharing. I love sharing my energy. I feel that there's a lot inside of me that I need to share, and this is the year. So if you're brand new to the show, this is your first time listening. This is Katey. I am your host. I don't even know what the name of the podcast is yet, but I had this unbelievable urge to record today. And so here I am. I'm just putting it out there. And I'm going to YouTube when we're done how to upload this to uh, the Apple, I guess. I'm going to go to Apple and figure this out. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I know this. I know that I can't make one more to-do list in another journal, another year, and expect anything different if I don't take action. So today is messy. I included, if you're watching this on the video, yes, I have a YouTube channel, so you can watch it there. I have the biggest, most beautiful, full, messy bun. And I was like, hang on a second. I think I'm supposed to be recording the new podcast today. So here it's, gonna give you a lowdown of what it's about. Now, it's going to be messy because you know what? I like things just like that. And it's going to be practical. It's going to be knowledge based. It's going to be educational. It's going to be entertaining. It is going to be fun. It's going to be all of those things wrapped up in a little package. Now, I've decided that I'm going to run about a 15-minute episode because I'll tell you something. I want to encourage listeners. I want to encourage people. And when I share them a podcast and I say, oh, I'm going to take you on my own journey. So why a podcast for me? I have been listening to podcasts for years. And when I first started, I started before there was podcasts. I started with YouTube videos. I would watch YouTube videos to feel energized and to get motivated. And honestly, it got me through some really, really challenging times as a single mother when my children were small. I used to listen to this one Matthew McConaughey. And if you know, you know that man's voice is something special. And I would listen to this one little clip over and over some days when my children were small just to get through the day. Anyway, so I love podcasts, but when I send them to friends, like I love now, give me an hour, 45 minutes. I love a long podcast. But I'm going to have at least a 15-minute episode with the odd extended version. When I'm ready to have that. But I want to get people starting and I want people to feel energy. And honestly, I want it to be doable. I want this to be a podcast you can literally listen to while you have a shower. Okay. I want this to be when you are cleaning up after the kids. Maybe it's your drive to work. I don't know. But I want it to be about 15 minutes of energy, 15 minutes of let yourself off the fucking hook. And yes, I'm going to be off the cuff. This will not be for your children. Don't involve the kids in this podcast. This is for you. This is for you time. So if the kids are around and you don't want them to hear some of the words I use, and I'm not a big cusser, but you know, I like to use. And so I want this to be something that will get you feeling alive. I want to get you more in tune with you. That is something. I made myself a little list because I didn't want to come up empty-handed here. So I follow Mel Robbins. It's not a secret. Mel, I am putting this out to the universe right freaking now. I want to meet you somehow, somewhere in 2025. I'm putting it out in the podcast world. If any of you listeners know how to connect her and I just want to let her know the let them theory is going to be my words of choice. I have to grab a prop because I forgot it, but give me a second. For the last 4 years, going into year 5, I have a rock. This is my rock. And I write words on here that are powerful words for me, motivating words. So I'll share with you a couple of them. In the year 2020, where's 2020? I wrote the word brave. My life required a lot of bravery that year. So I wrote the word brave. In 2021, I wrote the word resilient. It was just a word that it resonated with me all year long. In 2022, I have the word energy, and like I love energy and vibes. Like, you know, when you're with someone and you know if it's a good fit or a good vibe, and sometimes people have some of the energy, but like, they might do an ick thing, and you're like, no, I can't do that energy, whatever it is. I love creating it. I love creating energy. I love sharing energy. I love making it happen. And I also like to be aware of the energies around me. Okay. So, one more word. Let's give you action. So 2023, I took some action. What was my 2024 word? Sorry, I need to. It's very hard to see. Okay, but it's a real rock. I'm finding my 2024 word. They're written all over. 2024. I wanted more in 24. I wanted to travel more in 24, and I did a little bit, but I want more. I want to do more of traveling. So my year, the words, you guys, the words for this year. I have 4 words, and I just learned them. 4 words. Mel Robbins. These are the 4 words that are going on my rock. Mel Robbins. If you're ever gonna listen to this podcast, please let me know if you listened. Let them and let me. We're going to dive more into that as the episode progress, but this is the episode 1, and I don't know when it's going to air because I don't even know how to upload it, but we're going to figure that out. So we're going to talk about the let them, let me theory. It is not my theory. And I believe Mel Robbins heard it from somewhere, and she's amazing, and she wrote a book, and my book arrives soon. I've ordered it. It's coming. I'm going to be focusing here. This is a podcast. If you want good energy, if you want to laugh, if you want to feel like you're like hanging out with your friend and we're like out just laughing, having a good time, this is the podcast for you. If you are like anywhere in the menophase of life, meaning like if you're menstruating to perimenopause to menopause to post, that's the menophase. It's a big phase. I'm going to cover you there. We're going to talk about that. I have been shouting from the rooftops for about 35-ish years the importance of movement, the importance of taking care of this body of yours from the inside out. And I'm not talking just about 6-pack abs and strong legs and chin-ups, although that's one of my goals. I'm going to so do this summer with my little granddaughter at the park. But I'm talking about living long, well, living long and strong, living independently. I was at work today. I work with a couple gals that are around my age, and they were discussing whether or not, like, which kids are going to take care of them as they age. I piped up in the corner. I'm like, I'm actually working on a strategy to take care of my own darn self until I'm like 85 or 100. That's kind of the goal here. I'm not throwing in the towel, and neither are you, not on my watch. I want to talk about living full. I want to live so full that there's nothing left. There is nothing left. That's it. That's it. Full stop. Okay. I want to see where the time's at. Oh, I wish I would tell me how long this has been recording. I don't know. I didn't time it. But we're going to wrap it up because this is the intro episode. So I will eventually have guests. Mel Robbins, if you're out there, this would be a good one. I'm hoping to have some of the guests that I've been a guest on come speak on my podcast. I've been a guest on a few podcasts, so I'm hoping that those friends of mine that I spoke with will come and speak on my podcast. That's going to come in the new year. Right now, I'm going to work on just getting it off the ground. Literally, I'm going to YouTube after this how to do this, but I'm actually going to upload. I'm going to be brave and I'm going to upload this to YouTube because I know how to do that. I'm going to get this out for today, stamped it, stamped it, stamped it. I got to write on my rock because that's got to be important. Now, just one second. I need me a good black marker. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you are getting a sneak peek because I haven't uploaded it to the podcast world yet, but I'm going to figure it out. And by ripping off the Band-Aid and by just doing this today and putting it out in the universe, there's a greater chance of success that I'm going to go follow through and figure out podcast world. If you're watching this on YouTube and you know how to start a podcast, hit me up and you can help me. But anyway, I'm gonna do this later because it takes a minute to write on a rock. If you've ever wrote on a rock before, it's not easy peasy. Not with these little pens, okay? So I'm gonna do that after. I will share a picture later on my social media. The podcast, I'm going with a couple of names, but I'm not gonna let it out. It's gonna be Katey is in the name, okay? Okay. It might be my grade 6. I think it might be. It might be called Katey Goes. So, short story. I used to tell stories all the time from the time I was a little kid. Okay, so let's just take you back. My very first report card, kindergarten report card, or grade 1, whenever they start to write about you. Katey is a chatterbox. Grade 2, Katey continues to socialize and not spend enough time on academics. Fair. Grade 3, Katey has figured out how to talk and get her work done, but she's a complete distraction in the class. Oh, well, not my problem. Not my problem the teacher didn't have their attention. So by about grade 6, grade 7, I was in junior-ish age. I was still in elementary school. We didn't have a junior high. And I was always telling this, doing that, doing this, doing that. So I had a friend, Shannon, and this is so funny. Shannon's not on social media. And so I'm going to send her this to listen to. And Shannon, you might have named my podcast back in grade 6. So she'd always go home and tell her parents stories from school. And she'd always say, then Katey goes, and Katey goes, like Katey goes, like meaning Katey's talking, Katey's going, Katey's doing, Katey goes, Katey goes, Katey goes. And then I'm like, that's a good little name, Katey Goes. So it might be Katey Goes like we're going, Katey Goes like we're talking, but we might be moving on this podcast. There's definitely going to be energy here, and I want to have you back, and I would love your support. This is the dream of a 53-year-old woman who I've sat too long on this. I have sat way too freaking long on this. So if we can at least get this video out, let it get out there, share the shit out of it, and there will be eventually a podcast where you can go on the phone and find the podcast and listen, because I've been sending y'all to go listen to different podcasts, and I got so much to share, so much to say. I'm recording this in my studio right here for you right now, and I can't wait to share more with you. So 2025, here we are. Let's go for it. Let's have a great year, and I cannot wait to see where this goes. Awkward ends always on these things. So I'm just going to one thing, authenticity on this podcast, humor on this podcast, amazing fashion on this podcast. You're always going to want to upload to YouTube or go look on YouTube because I'm fucking funny. Okay, hang on a second. I got to figure out how to end this. If you like this jam, share it with your friends. Come back. I'm hoping to have it figured out within a week or less how to upload to YouTube. I, for the life of me, cannot find. If I did not record this, I'm going to be some sad. I found it, folks. Thank you for tuning into episode 1 of 2025. Katey Goes. I believe that's the name. I hope nobody has that name. Anyways, it'll be Katey something. Because my name, I love my name, and it is going to be Katey something. Now I got to end.